Whoa, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Theocracy with Theo Snodgrass. I am your host, Theo Snodgrass, wherever you may be. Thank you for making me a part of your day. It's been a while since I've done one of these, so I wanted to make sure I knocked one out this week. We're going to try to get back on our regular schedule here, but I've had some disruptions. So it's been good. I did a show on the Strip. I was fucking sick. It was at the V3 Theater at Planet Hollywood Hotel and Casino Resort out here. It was badass. It was a lot of fun. Very friendly crowd. A lot of fun. Love Las Vegas. You got to love Las Vegas. It's one of the best places I've ever performed comedy because the people who come out here to watch comedy actually they actually want to be happy. That's something I've noticed in the Northwest. A lot of times people in the audience, they don't want to go to a comedy show. They want you to say something that they can tweet about or blue sky about or whatever. They don't actually want to enjoy a comedy show. That's not what they actually want to do. So Vegas is not like that. People out here are on vacation. So people in general are having a good time, which I love. So that has a positive effect on the audiences. Yeah, so it's been definitely a tough summer though, but now it's things are turning around. The weather is settling down here in Vegas. We're getting to those. Vegas for like 75% of the year has some of the nicest weather you could ever possibly hope to find anywhere in the country. And then during the summer, it's excruciating and it just punishes you for existing, for going outside. It's like the sun. The sun is like a friend that's just a little too nice. They're just like a little up in your business, and that's the sun. It's just too much of a good thing out here. But oh, it's been a lot of fun. I'm still liking it. It's good. It's been a party. By the way, so this is what I wanted to actually talk to you guys about. I just did this today. I just watched this documentary about the WNBA, and okay, you're not. I guarantee you, if I gave you a thousand guesses, you could not guess what this documentary is called. I guarantee you, if I gave you a thousand tries, you'd never guess it unless you already had heard of it. It's called The Power of a Dream. And it's about the WNBA. And when I tell you this book is about basketball in the same way that Springtime for Hitler is about World War II, it barely comes up. They barely talk about it. That's the producers. Wait, hold on. Springtime for Hitler is the fake play in the producers. I mean, the producers being about World War II. It's like it barely comes up. They barely mention it. This is not okay. So Power of a Dream, it's just a woke propaganda film. So it's just so it's basically just like 2 hours of woke pride. And they got everything in there. They got LGBTQ in there. They got Black Lives Matter. They got COVID. Wait, I'm not allowed to say COVID on YouTube. They got COVID in there. They got basically every woke issue they got in there. And it was like basketball's not even mentioned. And also their struggle for equal pay was slipped in there as one of these as with what from their perspective is the most important civil rights issues of our time. So there's this struggle for LGBTQ rights, which is from their perspective, they're trying to stop a genocide. So it's like very serious. And then Black Lives Matter, which what they believe is an extension of the battle against slavery. They believe that for better, whether you agree with them or not, they believe that people are being gunned down in the street unjustly by the police. Right. And then, with COVID, they believe that this was like a life-altering pandemic, and they got shots of them like in the bubble or whatever, riding bikes around and like, look at all the sacrifices we made. Look at all the sacrifices we made for COVID. And they keep threatening not to play. That's my favorite thing about the WNBA. They keep threatening not to play. And then people are be like, hey, guys, the league doesn't make money. So if you threaten not to play, they might shut down the league. It's not good if you threaten not to play. That's like not, it's like, we will sit out. That's like their favorite thing to threaten. And like no one is upset by that. Like the reason the lockouts work in professional sports leagues is because the sports leagues make a lot of money. And it don't work without the athletes. That's why lockouts are effective. If your sports league does not, like, this isn't charity. The fact that this league exists is like people are doing you a favor. Like a bunch of businesses got together and they bought a bunch of shares in this league to prop it up, and then it gets an influx of money from the NBA, and it runs at a loss. And they're doing you a favor, and you're threatening to sit out. That's crazy to me. It's like the amount of entitlement. And to link up, by the way, you got to pay us the same, something approximating what you practice. Like, you got to pay us more, even though the profit margins of the league do not justify it. Like, there's no mathematical reason to pay them more, right? Like, there's no math reason to pay them more. And for a lot of them, the fact that they have social media followings at all and can earn significant income outside of their league salaries is because the league exists and gives them a platform that they would not otherwise have. And they're like, give us money. This is the most important issue. And so here's what happened, by the way. Here's what happens in the documentary. Basically, so there's this team in the WNBA that's owned by this chick who then eventually, she's one of the owners, and she runs for Senate or whatever in Virginia against Ralph Warnock. So I don't know if you remember this election, but it was kind of like one of the ones that was being highlighted by mainstream media in like, I think last midterms or whatever. Anyway, so she's kind of like running for this, and she owns a WNBA team, and her position is she's conservative. She's a Republican. She supports Trump, but she's also, one of her positions is that we shouldn't have politics in the NBA. So in the WNBA, sports should be apolitical. So when WNBA players came out and started wearing like Black Lives Matter t-shirts, and they wanted to wear like t-shirts with people's name on them, and they wanted to like kneel and put their fists up and all this stuff, which other athletes in like men's leagues were doing, and they wanted to do it too. She was one of the owners, and she was like, we shouldn't do this because it alienates people. And they were like, how dare you? You can't sit with us. And so then they tried to like force her out of the league because she wrote a letter that was like not even like provocative in any way, just like mainstream conservative talking points, which is that, sports should be apolitical. And she doesn't agree with like Black Lives Matter is a political movement. And they were like, wow, so you really hate Black people. And she was like, no, I don't agree with this political movement. And they're like, wow, so you're like racist. Have you felt this way the whole time? Have you always been racist? And she's a white lady for content. Very tall, very gawky, very awkward. You find out she grew up on a farm. So you you imagine her as like a little farm kid, like big fucking glasses, just gawky and awkward and unusually tall, gangly, you might say. And then that person grows up to be a Republican and everyone's surprised. It's like, that's what happens to people who grow up on farms, is they become conservative. That's just how they grow them out there. Why is this a surprise to you? But they will like react so badly to it. They're like, you can't sit with us. And so they try to force her out of the league, and that doesn't work because they don't really have grounds to force her out of the league because that's insane. But then she like runs for Congress or whatever. And so what they do is they have the whole WNBA rally behind her opponent and like really like signal boost him. This is Ralph Warnock. This is the guy who won. And then he wins and she loses the election. And then they're like, you can't sit with us. And then like forced her out. And it's all because of her positions on like Black Lives Matter and stuff. It was like, and her argument isn't even like, it's not like a racist argument. She's not making it. She's just like, hey, we shouldn't do this because it alienates people and the league doesn't make money anyway. So like we should, kind of like Michael Jordan used to say, Republicans buy sneakers too. We don't have to like, okay, this is a business we're trying to grow. And by taking strong political stances that are very preachy, we are alienating potential customers. And that's not a good thing to do. We shouldn't do that. which is like normal. That's what like a normal person would be. Like if we lived in a normal society, that would be a totally normal thing to say. And like fucking half this documentary is dedicated to, and there's literally, I swear to God, there's literally a line where one of the players is like, yeah, we basically saved democracy. This was the most important Senate race of all time, and we had an influence. And it's like, who is talking to these people? Who told you that that's your place in the world? You're lucky to be here. The whole existence of your platform is a charity paid for by men. What are you talking about? Why do you think that that's what you are? And it's crazy. It's crazy that that's who's talking to these people behind the scene. And the fact that they are constantly asking for, but they actually have a segment in the documentary where they're like, yeah, well, you know, a lot of the older players knew, you know, not to push for more salary, like higher salaries, because the league's in a tenuous position financially and it's still trying to get off the ground and become profitable. So, but then these younger players are like, yeah, we should just get everything. But they don't. Like, there's not like a comprehension. It's like the league doesn't make money. So you're overpaid. You should have to pay to play. This is more like a chess club for children than it is a sports league for adults. But the other thing too is that, you know, especially in the era of like name, image, and likeness for college athletes, and then social media following and like branding. Like if you look at what Angel Reese has done, despite being fantastically unlikable, she has managed to create a substantial brand for herself that she has monetized in a significant way. She just walked in like the Victoria's Secret fashion show. Now, to be fair, everyone said she looked like Sid, and she did. But, you know, that goal can only happen because, there's this one part of the documentary where this chick, who's, I guess, a famous NBA player. I don't know women's basketball players, so I don't know. Apparently she's famous. And she was like, I was playing in the league and the janitor was making more than me. And she said it in this very like snide, shitty way. Anyway, this is how I found out about the documentary, was from the backlash to that comment, which was like, basically, you're shitting on janitors, which was kind of a dick move. And by extension, shitting on like working class people more broadly, which is a dick move. But really what people were saying is like, I thought the funnier response a lot of people said was like, that's because the janitor creates more value than you. That's why he gets paid more. Like there's not a market for what you're doing. And the thing about it is they had an argument for why they should make more when people weren't watching the games. But now the games are way more widely viewed. So now people know that they're not that entertaining because they're on TV. It's way easier to see a game now. There just isn't demand. And the thing is, it's not a sexism thing. There are sports where women are super successful, like women's MMA or like women's tennis or beach volleyball or track and field. Men will watch women do sports if they're fighting or if the uniform is underwear. But we don't want to have that conversation. This is a fixable problem in the WNBA. You know, you could just either let them fight. I wouldn't change the uniforms because it's like, they actually say this in the documentary. This girl was like, when I was a little girl and I saw the women of the WNBA, it was so great to see women that looked, you know, monstrous with giant feet. They look just like me. And it's like, are you complimenting them right now? Is that is that nice what you're saying? Is that actually nice? Yeah, Ronald making a good point here. Ronald making a good point here. Nobody wants to see that. That's what I'm saying. It's like, I think you'd have a lot better success getting like a women's flag football league to take off. If you remember, lingerie football was very successful before we decided we were too evolved and civilized for that. By the way, so now there's like nothing for like girls who played football in high school to do, because there are some of those. There's enough of those around the country that we could make a league out of them. There's enough. There's like at least a couple in every state where is some like freakishly athletic girl and they let her play football in high school. There's enough of those like running around that we could make a league out of it. And that would be way more entertaining than the WNBA. It's just the product isn't very good. That's it. It's like, I think that's why I object to the whole discourse is like, I'm not a bad person because I don't like this product. You know, that's what bothers me is that's why I keep like talking about this. They try to make it, they're trying to make it like an equity justice thing where it's like, it's some moral failing to me that I don't feel like men's basketball and women's basketball are the same amount of entertaining. And that's okay. Like I said, this documentary, this is almost secondary because this documentary had nothing to do with basketball. It was all just like social justice and leftist politics and virtue signaling the whole way through. And it was all tying it together as yes, and this is why we deserve to get paid more because we're these super powerful, impressive, empowered, strong activists, and we have such a strong voice, and we're such strong women. And bear in mind, this documentary is called The Power of a Dream. What does that mean? What does that mean? Like, if I told you the title, Power of a Dream, and I told you to guess what it was about, how long would it take you to land on the WNBA? Like, who is this about? Oh, is it about JP Morgan? Is it about Henry Ford? Who is the Power of a Dream? Oh, man, is it about Martin Luther King? No. It's about a bunch of gawky lesbians who decided to wade into a Senate race because they wanted to mean girl one of their coworkers. That's what this documentary is about. And by the way, and all of it is for, causes that we now know were like bullshit. Do we know in hindsight? This came out last year, and it's like now in hindsight, we know that a lot of these police shootings were reported in a very biased and distorted way by the media to inflame people's passions on purpose and to make people upset on purpose. And now as the facts comes out, we find out, and as more police are required to wear body cams, as we find out, it's like, yeah, actually, a lot of these people had it coming. Just being real. The other thing, too, that I object to is these players clearly just do not know what they are talking about. Like, these are not super sophisticated speakers by any means. They're clearly just repeating talking points that were fed to them. Like, they may feel big feelings about these issues, but like, there's no evidence that these are people that we should listen to. There's nothing to suggest that these are people we should actually listen to or people that should have a significant influence on policy. There's just no evidence of that based on anything they're saying. So it's crazy. It's crazy. But this became like a significant social. It's weird. Like I said, it's just a woke propaganda film, but it's set up to be like it's using the WNBA as a vehicle to advance the woke agenda. That's it. And it's trying to make you like, oh, you're a bad person if you don't support this. Let's check in with the chat, by the way. I've been monologuing for 20 minutes. I've ignored. Roguish Nerd is here. What's up, buddy? Full Metal Nate is here. What's up? Ale, no joke. I was actually want to read stream again. Yes, I am back now. We're going to try to get on a regular schedule. I'm just going to drop these whenever I can. I want to try to drop these during the workday so that my folks with real jobs have something to do during the day. Master of this custodial arts. Yes. What's up, Ronald? Ronald is here. What's up, buddy? Godfo's here. What's up, buddy? Happy to see you. The janitor was cleaning. That's what you should be doing, sweetheart. Amen. There you go. Yeah, dude. I don't understand. I don't understand the entitlement. Like, your league exists because of the charity of other people because they think it would be nice. And then those same people who think it would be nice, they offered them a big pay raise They offered them, they got them on private jets, even though there's no financial reason for them to be on private jets. The NBA players are on private jets for financial reasons. That wasn't just a fun luxury perk that they wanted to give to NBA players to be nice. That was because the league's popularity justified private flight, because time became valuable enough that the financial investment was worth it. That's what happened. Like, and what's so interesting about this documentary is no mention of Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese or any of these people. No mention of that. And I understand it wasn't what it was like, because that wasn't their goal. Their goal was to talk about social justice and stuff. Whereas like documentaries about the NBA, about this time period, you know, I don't know, they always cover like Larry Bird and Magic and how they increased the popularity of the league, and then how Jordan exploded the popularity of the league. Like the players, like it's a business oriented story. And to some degree, the league has increased in popularity, but I think that this is downstream of like a deliberate media push. And I've said before, I think it's about sports betting, really. I think it's just to give people more things to bet on because they want you to gamble on sports on your phone. But that's just me and with my tinfoil hat on. I don't know. It's weird that I don't know where the entitlement comes from. Like they must just have people telling them how wonderful they are. Like you deserve so much, like all the time. It's like, what happened to you deserve whatever you can get. You deserve what you can earn. Imagine if I came on here and I was like, I should make the same money as Shane Gillis and Matt Rife. Imagine if it's like, no, because I don't pull numbers like they do. That's how you decide how much money you make to do comedy. It's how many people will show up to watch you. Right? That's why I'm doing this. I'm trying to grow brand awareness. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me that I don't know where it comes from. This is like, I don't know who is in there, you know, gassing them up, but they're all on board with this idea that I deserve more. Give me more, give me more, give me more. And they mentioned in the documentary, it's like, yeah, so the league's in a financially tenuous place as it is. So like if the players become too expensive, the league is just going to shut down. And yeah, I don't know. This is a deserving problem. I don't know if this is like a man-woman thing or what, but like, I think men in general have the sense that you have to earn your keep or you're not going to be wanted around. You know, like it's a math issue. It's not even like I don't know, like play a different sport. I should have played tennis, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Like if your business doesn't make money, then you don't get paid. Like that. I don't know. Just irritate. This is more broadly, I think, what we're dealing with right now in the country. You see it is crisis of maturity. It's just like everyone. I don't know if this is because the national discourse in now includes children. I've wondered that if it's just like because the internet has actual children on it that we're all squabbling like children, if that's what's happening or like what the deal is. But it seems like you see this so much in the relationship discourse. It's like let me show you an example of what I'm talking about. So I'm not just like did you guys see that video of that? You're going to see it right now. But did you see that video of those dudes kind of like crowding that reporter at the Oregon State game? You probably didn't see it. I'm going to share my screen real quick. All right. This is crazy. Let me make sure my DMs are closed. Yeah, we're good. All right. This is crazy. All right, go ahead.
of football is you can definitely tell there is a new play caller in town. The offense is looking, the offense is looking a lot more versatile. They're getting their tight end in there with more reps. Still seem really characteristic with the running game, but definitely seeing a lot more passes from Malik Murphy to Trent Walker.
Very cool.
And I think even though the game is tied, the offense has looked entirely different, and we'll see how it goes through the second half of this game.
All right, that's enough of that. Does that look like adult behavior to you? Those are grown-ups. Those are fucking college students. Does that seem like the way adults act to you? Or do those seem like rowdy children who are at a birthday party and they've had a little too much ice cream cake and they're just going crazy? You know? And if you look at the videos from from protests now, it's the same deal. I just watched a ton of protest footage because I just got done watching that WNBA documentary, but it's the same deal there. It's just people are just shrieking about what they want. Yeah. Sorry, I forget some of you are audio only. That man-child was screaming 6'7", I think, which is what the kids are saying. I don't know what it means. I know nothing. Don't. I'm an old person now, so I don't know what that means. I don't know why he was screaming it. I don't know why he thought that was like a fun thing to read. And there's this reporter's just trying to do her job. Now, obviously, women shouldn't have jobs. That's not what this discussion's about today. Obviously, the reporter's just here trying to do her job, and they're just shrieking and hanging out, and looking at the camera and messing with her. That's super weird. That's super uncomfortable, right? Because she's surrounded by drunk dudes, so that probably isn't a super good time. She doesn't look like she's having fun. She's doing her best to maintain professionalism, but also why would you think that that's an appropriate thing to do? Why would you? I understand. I understand being drunk, but that only entitles you to act like an asshole, up to a point. And the other thing too is this is not limited to just this situation. So we're seeing this all over. People are just not considerate of how their actions impact other people. I don't know if this is because we're in our own little pods. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Let's look at the chat room. Asses and seats is one of the few metrics that actually matters. Yes, this discussion should be called broadly speaking. I agree. Yeah, it's crazy, and this bleeds into this. Isn't just about voting patterns, because voting patterns is the same thing. It's everyone should just everyone should think like I think, or else it's offensive to me. And that's kind of how people are now. It's really hard to navigate adult discussion if you're that out of touch with other people. It's hard to just move through the world as an adult if you think that this is you're just gonna run into people who don't like you. I don't know what to tell you. You're just gonna run into people you don't like, and you're gonna have to work with people that don't agree with you on everything. The fact that going back to the WNBA thing for the second, the fact that they had that owner there who was just a regular. That's just a regular. She's just a regular Republican person, and it's you can't own a basketball team because of your opinions on Black Lives Matter. It's a super weird take, And then they made a whole movie about it, they were the good guys. Look how intolerant we are of people who think slightly differently than us. Look how cool we are. That's Ronald making a good point. TBH, it's not right, but that's what you're in for, reporting for the Bleacher for a sporting event. Yeah, and that's true too. Yeah, it's true too. Also, there is another part of the problem is that there isn't a socially acceptable place for young men to go and act like chimpanzees, and they need that. I don't think we talk about that enough. Like the desire, I get into this argument all the time with like leftists because you'll run into a lot of leftists who think that football needs to be banned because it causes brain injuries. And then I'll say, yeah, but like it's better than the alternative. And they'll say, what do you mean? And I'll say, you don't know how many guys are not in jail because they got to play football. Like you need to do something to deal with young men's violent impulses or your society isn't going to function well. So like football is the alternative is war. So what the Vikings used to do with I haven't figured out a way to make this into a stage bit, but the Vikings were basically incels. I haven't figured this. I have not made but what they do is what happens if you get too many young unmarried men, they're full of like piss and vinegar and testosterone and violence. You don't give them anything to do is they start knocking mailboxes over. They just start fucking things up. So they just put them in a boat. They're like, go over there. Go somewhere else and do that. And so they just got in these long boats and we're like, fuck it. We don't have wives. So it's like, fuck it. We're just going to go find something to break. And they did. They just terrorized Europe in their boats. Yeah. So that's what football is. So that's what football is. It's like, you don't know, like, it's like, well, it's, physically expensive in a sense. It causes damage to people. It's like, yeah, but you don't know how much damage the alternative would cause. You don't know how violent society would be if we did not have football as an outlet for young men. Like, it's actually really fucking critically important that we have outlets for men to act like hooligans. And by the way, getting drunk and yelling at a sporting event is all well and good. I'm actually strongly in favor. And I agree. My coworker is a bitch who just wants everything done her way. Yeah, and we have to deal with it. By the way, this is something I was thinking about recently. I don't know where to put this. This is just something I was thinking about recently. Like we have the HR department. If a workplace is too much like a frat house and the women get annoyed, then they can go to the HR department and rat on everybody and they can make it not fun. But there's nowhere that men can go if the workplace becomes too much like a kindergarten. Like if it becomes too much, then everyone respects everybody and we all sing the cleanup song together. Like the workplace has become unpalatable for men for the most part, certainly corporate environment. And all the prestige professions, majority of law associates are female, majority of income of people in law school are female. Same with medicine is now majority female. Like a lot of these prestige professions in response to like diversity quotas and stuff are becoming more and more. And when they hit that tipping point where it becomes majority female, that changes the whole culture of the workplace. Everything becomes like HRified. The longhouse is that metaphor where everything becomes like passive aggressive and like backstabby and shitty. And you look great. All that shit that men find unpalatable, and it's very hard for men to navigate. So men that are creative and masculine are just leaving in droves to, start their own businesses or pursue their own projects. And it makes it just fucking unpalatable. And there are economic consequences to that too. And there's no recourse for men to be like, hey, it smells like I come into work and it smells like bitch in here. It's a fucking kindergarten. Can we get a beer cooler in the break room? You know what I mean? Like, can we do something? Can we do something? Can we do smash or pass with my female coworkers? Can I just have a little bit of sexual harassment? And here's the thing. Women prefer that too. Women hate living in the longhouse just as much as men. They just don't want to admit it. I think women, nobody wanted to get rid of all the sexual harassment. I keep coming back to this on this show. I don't know why. Nobody wanted to get rid of 100% of the sexual harassment. We just didn't want the ugly guys doing it. The rest of us were having a great time sexually harassing, and it was going fine. Everybody was happy about it. And a few guys ruined it, and now nobody gets to do it. And now the women are like, wait, but I'm pretty, though. You don't think I'm pretty? It's like, no, I just don't want to go to jail. You know what I'm saying? No. And there's no recourse. There's no HR department I can go to be like, I think we should have more sexual harassment around here. I think it'll be better for everyone. And I'd be right. What's crazy is I'd be objectively right about that. and everyone would agree with me, but because I had the courage to say it, I'm the one getting fired. Enough about my last job. Yeah. Ronald's coming out the woods. I thought my D&D table was for that. Yeah, that's true. It's like, that's a good point. But I'm saying is the amount of, there used to be a lot of male spaces that were, they used to be super abundant and you could go there all the time and it was badass. And the number of like male spaces where men can just like act like absolute chimpanzees without the restrictions of society placed on them, the number of those is just going down and down and down and down and down. Which is, had a horrible effect. I think so. One of the effects of that is that men retreat into video games because they don't want, like, if you're telling them that you can't play outside and you can't have male only spaces, then a lot of the male only spaces are created online. So they're either going online or they're retreating into video games. And this retards men's in-person social skills. And so then women are like, why are all the men weird? And it's like, because their social skills have been retarded because you got rid of all the spaces where they would have gone outside, and then also a lot of the traditional ways that men and women used to socialize, places like nightclubs have gotten a lot more expensive. And the quality has gone down and the amount of expensive it is has gone up. And also with dating apps and Instagram, people do not need that. Women are putting in a lot less effort in order to get male validation, and men have less money to do things like buy drinks and buy sections and buy bottles and go to clubs and do this kind of peacocking they used to do to get women's attention. And really, you don't have to do that kind of stuff in person anymore. You only have to do that stuff on Instagram. Like, you get a couple Instagram videos a year of you popping bottles or whatever, and then they think you do that all the time. And then you just throw that on the dating app and there you go. So that's really, and so because of that, everybody's social skills are retarded a little bit. Like, it's not just men, but men staying inside and playing video games way more has not had a positive impact. It's not to shit on my video game playing men. I think men who are playing video games that's a rational response to a society that denies you the feeling of accomplishment. Like, men want to go out, they want to explore, they want to do so. Why do you think sandbox games are so popular? One of the most popular games among Gen Z and Gen Alpha was Minecraft. What do you do in that game? You explore, you mine, you build stuff, you survive, you live in a village, you raise livestock. There's a lot more to it than that. But like, obviously people have done all kinds of crazy stuff and they've built all kind of crazy stuff. But like, what men want to do is like build and explore and feel accomplished. And they have all this energy that's driving them to do that. And what do we tell them to do? Sit down, shut up, let women lead, share your feelings, be effeminate. Like, that's just like not conducive to men flourishing. It's just not going to work. And then you take them into the school system is meant to break their spirit so that they can like survive in the corporate system where they're similarly beaten down and told to sit down, shut up, and just be an interchangeable cog in the machine and be an automaton. We don't need your creativity. We don't need your independent spirit. Don't be aggressive. We don't need ambition here. We just need to sit down, shut up, and be zonked out. Yeah. That says, Ronald says, Instagram is one of the greatest vices of my generation. Yeah. Okay. So this is something I talk about all the time. So we talk a lot about porn addiction in men. One of the things we do not talk enough about, and the deleterious impacts that has on men. I talk about that frequently. And it does have deleterious impacts in the real world. It's not just something that happens in the dark. Like, it has consequences that have lasting impacts on you personally. I think it corrupts the spirits of men in ways that they're not necessarily aware of. And it erodes their social relationships in ways they're not necessarily aware of. What we don't talk about enough, particularly, is Instagram addiction in women, or like social media addiction in women, and how that has deleterious impacts. This is one of the things that I think is going on in this WNBA story too, is a lot of women get a ton of gas on social media, and it gives them the ability to get a ton of validation. Their DMs are just full of men trying to sleep with them, and they can't differentiate between men trying to sleep with them and men trying to have a meaningful relationship with them, right? And on top of that, it gives them access to basically really, really, really high quality men who will like bang them and then forget about them immediately. And then this is, by the way, I wanted to get to this. I'm so glad that we're having this discussion. So what I'm saying is, first of all, I want to talk about why is this an addiction? So that kind of like validation, like being desired for women, is kind of the point. Like that is a very, very, very intoxicating feeling for women. Like being desired is what gets them off. That is the thing for them. Like feeling hot is feeling like they are desired is like the ultimate high for women. And that's just how they are. You know, like just the same reason, like for them, like staring at disembodied cocks does nothing, but like for us staring at just like a pair of tits on a screen is like, yeah. But they don't feel that same way about just like a random dick. They have to know the backstory of the dick. Like, who does this dick belong to? Is he nice to his mom? Does he have money? That kind of thing. That's why the literary porn is what sticks versus the visual. This is a key difference between men and women. And one of the main things is they want to feel that their partner. This is why in the women's porn books, it's always some monster that feels like ravenous animalistic desire for her. Just some random mid who's being seduced by this like super hot monster, right? Who's also a prince for some reason, right? But he also controls himself, but he's struggling to control himself because he's so hot for this dumpy mid, this fucking Disney adult. And he's like an immortal, fairy prince with a 12-inch cock. But this this dumpy Disney adult with 6 cats and just and SpaghettiO sauce spilled down the front of her pajamas. He's, that's what is arousing uncontrollable animalistic desire in him. And this is what women read. This is the ultimate female fantasy. It's like, I don't have to improve at all, and great men will be attracted to me. That's the female fantasy. So you gotta love it. I mean, they're being honest about what they want, right? You gotta love it. You gotta love their honesty. Yeah. Anyway, point is this Instagram addiction. So here's why. Instagram addiction, that attention, that validation is highly, 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 highly addictive. It gives women a ton of access to that. Their DMs are flooded because guys are doing a high percentage strategy because it costs nothing to send an Instagram message. They can send 1,000 of those good morning beautifuls a day. And like maybe 3 people respond. And it's like, all right, I'm in. Yeah, it's a high percent. But women don't differentiate that. They're like, oh, this guy wants to marry me. And, they think that the guys that some of these guys they have access to are out of their league, but they'll pump and dump them and they're like not talking to them. Again, men will have sex with women that they do not like, do not respect, are not attracted to, even if the sex isn't good. And women don't understand that because they don't do that. Like I had this conversation with my lesbian friend when she started to date men. We had this conversation and she was like, why are men not treating me well? I was like, because you're fucking men who don't like you. This is where that's all coming from. They're fucking men who don't like you. And she's like, I was like, okay, you know how you have to be attracted to a guy to have sex with him? You got to like something about him. There's got to be something about him, that you think is good. She's like, that's like the basis of attraction. You need something, right? I was like, no. That's what you need. Men don't need that. A man will cheat on the love of his life with a roast beef sandwich he fishes out of an Arby's dumpster. It's just pull it out of the dumpster, brush it off, take it into a corner, risk it all. Because it's gross. It's like a lot of women, they think that you're the love of their life and you're really Well, you know what you are? You're like the gas station bathroom on the way home from work. It's like, it's nice to know it's there, you know, and you'll use it if you have to, you know, but I'm not going to introduce my mother to that gas station bathroom. You know, I do dirty things in there. You know what I mean? It's like, that's just not going to happen for you. It's not going to happen for you. It's not going to happen. So this is where a lot of this is coming from. A lot of these women who are complaining about men are terrible. We just want bare minimum, blah, blah, blah. You want that from the guys that you're attracted to, right? But these guys that you're attracted to, they don't like you as people. They don't see you as a person. They see you as a noisy mass of flesh built around some useful holes. And that's why they're treating you badly, is because they don't like you. So the guys that you can get good treatment from, that's your actual dating pool. The guys that will treat you well. That's your actual dating pool. Not the guys that will fuck you. It's the guys who will treat you well. That's your real dating pool. And who are they? The guys who are currently treating you well. Those guys. You could date those guys. That's who you could date. And it's like, but the guys in my inbox, it's like the guys in your inbox just want to fuck you and not talk to you again. That's different. It's amazing to me how many women still don't understand this. Like, I feel like the information is out there, but it's still, every time I talk about it, I find that there's people who are hearing it for the first time. Yeah, and that's what's okay. Nate is actually asking a really good question here. I don't want to sound surprised. Nate asks good questions all the time. I'm glad he's here. I just work, play D&D, and talk to my friends. How does it make me the bad guy to a woman? Right. So the guys that they direct their anger at are not the men that hurt them. They just don't have access to those guys. I had this one time. I was hooking up with this girl in San Diego. I don't recommend hookups, by the way, but this is a different stage of my life when I didn't have the current values that I have, but I was hooking up with this girl in San Diego at that time. And she was like fucking awful to me. And I was like, why are you so, she would, to the point that she would apologize for being so mean to me. She's like, hey, I'm sorry. Cause I wouldn't be mean to them back. And I would talk to her and, you know, she was just awful. And then she would like apologize. She'd be like, I'm sorry, I'm so mean to you, whatever. I finally found out she wasn't mad at me. She was mad at her dad. And then she was also mad at this Navy SEAL that like fucked her and never talked to her again. You know, you run into a lot of that in San Diego. A lot of girls have fucked Navy SEALs. They've been pumped and dumped by Navy SEALs because there's a naval base out there. So a lot of girls have been pumped and dumped by Navy SEALs, and it just leaves like it's a life-altering experience for women to like fuck a Navy SEAL and then never talk to him again, apparently. Anyway, so she was like mean to me for that reason. It had nothing to do with me, but she doesn't have access to that guy. That guy doesn't acknowledge she exists. I'm here. I'm available. And they don't understand that, okay, because only about 20% of men are even really visible to women in this way. So they don't see men they're not attracted to. So they don't understand that they think because the guys that they fuck are fucking 5 other women, that you are fucking 5 other women. They think that that's a universal male experience because all the men they talk to have a roster. They think you also have a roster. And when you say to them, it's like, no, most men are not fucking anybody. Some men a plurality of men are fucking one other person at most. And then like 20% of men are capable of maintaining a roster. And that's it. It's not always the guys you think, like it's unemployed dudes who have like neck tattoos. Like those guys have rosters too. So it's like, it's not always like the top, like the objectively top guys, not just NBA players. It's also like fucking like random unemployed doofuses who have rosters. It's weird who women choose to have sex with, but they think you are the bad guy. And women have a hard time. We talk about this all the time. They have a hard time differentiating. So they tend to just like put men into one big category as all the problem. You run into this I talk about these issues a lot. And a lot of times the women they're just used to being racial because they'll be like, men are terrible. And all the women will be like, yes, men are terrible. And all the men will be like, yeah, I guess we are terrible. Like they're just not used to a man who's going to like contradict their point of view. And so they'll come into it. And I've had the conversation 1,000 times. They're having it for the first time right now. They've literally never considered my side of it. So a lot of times it catches them completely fucking off guard. And I'll try to make this point, and it comes to them as like a complete surprise. Every time. It's like they're hearing the information. Like they've never even considered the fact that not all men are just swimming in pussy all the time. And mathematically, of course, that wouldn't work. You can't be that every single man is fucking 5 women. You know, it just can't be unless the women are like all fucking 5 dudes. You know, yeah. This discourse is important. D&D gives them the ick. There's some good-looking women in D&D. Unfortunately, about 8 out of 10 of them are crazy. Yeah, both of you are right. I will say this. Here's the thing. Like, if a woman likes you, she'll like whatever you're into. It doesn't matter. If she already likes you, she'll like whatever you're into. That's just how it is. So it doesn't matter how weird it is. If she likes you, she'll like what you're into. And a lot of this, I do want to address this broader ick discussion though, because that's a good point. A lot of this is coming from the fact that people will just like project their fantasies on people. And also people are thinking about a relationship in terms of how it's going to make them feel. They're not thinking about the other person. That's a big problem that we've got going on right now. People go into relationships thinking about how is this going to make me feel and what am I going to get out of it? They don't think about who is this other person and what are their needs and how does that overlap with what I do? And do we have overlap in needs? Like, do we have overlap in what I do well versus what this person needs? They don't think about that. They think purely in terms of what am I going to get out of this and what's going to make me feel good? And as soon as that person does anything to disrupt that fantasy of my internal fantasy of what a perfect woman is, let's say, as soon as she does anything that's like, actually, I'm a human being, I'm not your fantasy of perfect woman, then ew, gross, I'm out. And we're seeing this, and this is especially true with young women because they have so many options on social media. That's one of the things that's creating the ick discourse is they're looking for a perfect guy because it's what's so tricky about it. You're not actually competing with men that exist in real life. You're competing with her conception of a perfect man in her mind. And that guy has all the traits combined. There's actually a video of me. If you've seen my crowd work show, I actually have a thing where I'm talking to a woman about this and I get her to admit that it's like, yeah, I'm looking for a guy who can do everything, who has all the traits of my exes combined into one guy. And it's like, you're not going to get that, sweetheart. That's not a real thing. That guy doesn't exist. That's not real. Yeah. Yeah. This is like, play with, I know that. This is more of the same discourse. Women who don't, they equate it with video games being lazy. It's like, yeah, there is a certain amount of, women don't want men to have hobbies at all. That is true a little bit. That's a little bit true. But yeah, in general, like if the girl likes you, she's going to like what you're into regardless of what that is. But there is like also a sense of like, you have to deal with, it is not unreasonable for them to want to get something out of the relationship, by the way. That's not unreasonable. That's not the part that's unreasonable. You should also want to get something out of the relationship. But the fact that so much of the dating discourse boils down to sex for money is like, I promise you, that is the most low vibrational way to approach relationships. And that is not sustainable for anybody, you know, because one of the things that happens is something I don't tell you about adult life. You're at some point is 100% certainty, unless you're like stupendously wealthy. At some point in your life, you will struggle with money. It will just happen. Because something will happen that will cost a lot of money and it will be more money than you currently have. And things will get hard for a while. So if your girl is dating you because of money, okay, just know that there's an expiration date on that. Because at some point, life is going to come along and kick you in the shorts. That's just what happens. Same with being a girl. We know 100% certainty. Eventually, if you're going through life solely on the strength of your looks, eventually that becomes a deteriorating asset. So you got to have something else. There has to be something else tying you together. If it's just sex, looks, hotness, and money, and that's the only thing uniting the relationship, that's not, you're building a house on sand. That doesn't work. So again, this is what I'm saying. A lot of the advice on the internet is just designed to keep people single. And by the way, if let's say, for example, you do have a woman, because I want to spend some time on this because this is what the chat is talking about. This is I'll wrap up on this D&D point, then I'll go back to the chat. If you really like D&D and you're with a hot woman and then she's like, "Oh, you play D&D?" Oh, and then she leaves, she has done you a favor, right? Because you only had two choices at that point. The relationship ends and you continue playing D&D and being authentic to yourself, or you give up playing D&D and you resent it forever. Here's the thing. There's a lot of couples where somebody had to give something up and they resent it forever. That shit doesn't go away. And life is long. If you guys spend 20, 30 years with somebody, that's a long time. Okay? That's a long time to hold on to resentment. And for those of us that play tabletop games, that brings us a tremendous amount of joy. Shout out Nate the Great. Full Metal Nate is actually his channel name. He does a D&D game, and I'm a part of that. I wasn't there last week because I had food poisoning, but this week or next one, I'll be there. Yeah, it's a lot of fun for those of us that love it. It's a great source of release, and making somebody give it up, or agreeing to give it up for a partner, rather, because it's a choice you made. Nobody made you, right? You did it for the relationship. You sacrificed it. You resent it. And here's the thing, even if you act like you don't resent it, resentment creeps in and it erodes things. It's not good. You want somebody who likes you for the person you are. I had this exact conversation with a prostitute over on Fremont Street the other day. I was walking around at a friend of mine in town. That's the cool thing about Las Vegas is your friends will just visit you when they're on vacation. So you get the best version of your friends from around the country. Because when they hang out with you, they're on vacation. You get the best version of them, right? So yeah, we came and this prostitute locked eyes with me, and she came up. She's like, "Hey, you look like you like to party." And I was like, "I do like to party, but I don't know if I like the kind of party you want to have." She was like, "What kind of party do you like?" And I was like, "I like the party where the girls like me for who I am as a person, and I don't have to pay them. Is that the kind of party you're offering?" And she's like, "No." I was like, "All right, listen, sweetheart, I'm not knocking your hustle. I'm just not trying to do all that respectfully." She's like, "All right, take it easy." And we parted ways. This is, by the way, this was in the middle of the day. This was at like 2:00 in the afternoon. This was not at night. It was just broad daylight. I was solicited by a prostitute. But we just weren't on the same wavelength. We didn't want the same kind of party. Right? We didn't want the same kind of party. That's the thing. You got to get somebody that wants the same. You just got to, you got to get with somebody that wants to have the same kind of party as you. And that's not what was going on there. So that's the thing is like, actually, here's the thing. This is what I remind guys is you don't want to be generically attractive to all women. That's actually not a good thing. You want to be really, 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 really attractive to a certain type of woman and then pick the best one from that subset. And then you really only need one yes. So if a girl's like, "Oh, you're weird," whatever, it's like, okay, well, that's not your one. So you don't need it. Boom. Good. She has done you a favor by rejecting you. It's a numbers game. You just got to talk to a lot of them. And the reality is that it's even more numbers since there's so many women who are TikTok brained. The best thing you can do is vet them out. And just if you determine in the first 10, 20 minutes of talking to a woman on the first date, talking to a woman that she's TikTok brained, okay, well, you don't want her anyway. What you're looking for is something rare and exceptional, and just embrace that. Embrace that. Rare and exceptional is good. And the goal is not to like bang hundreds of women. That's a giant waste of time, energy, and effort. And it will like make you deeply cynical. It's not good. You should hold on to the ability to pair bond. You only need one yes. So if you hear 1,000 no's, who cares? You only need one yes. It's from like one, and you're looking for something rare, right? Because like probably like, I don't know, I'm out in the streets. Probably like 80% of single women that I meet are completely TikTok brained, like unfixably stupid. Probably like 80%. So I'm looking for someone who's exceptional, right? And it's over for me. Don't get me wrong. It's over for me. It's over. It's not going to happen. It's a long shot. If you're like below the age of like 30, you still have a shot. especially if you haven't, if you don't have like a giant body count already, you still have a shot. I'm fucking cooked. But yeah, you should actually lead with who you are authentically, be honest about the stuff that you're interested in. And if the girl likes you, she'll be interested in that too. Same deal. So, and that's what you should do. All right. Let's see what's going on. In my experience, women sitting in a chair will drive women up a wall. Yeah. Something about sitting in a chair or napping, or like Nate says, the chirp of a PS5. Yeah, they fucking hate that shit. 100% of financial difficulties in forecast. Yeah, 100%, Rogue Nerd. That's what I'm saying. Is like, so if that's the basis of your relationship, then you are setting yourself up for failure. That's stupid. That's stupid. And 100% chance of she's not going to be as hot in 20 years. So if that's the thing you like about her, eventually you're just going to have her sense of humor to go off of. Remember that. Remember, this is your person to make jokes with forever. Don't be stupid. Don't take that shit. Like, if you never laugh with this person, are you sure that's what you want? She's not going to be hot forever. That's right. That's what I'm saying. Like, you got to get some, like, do you want to really be with a chick who doesn't like D&D? Come on. Talking to you, Nate. Whoever else. And that's the thing. It's like, I think the abundance of, I'm not even sure if it's the fact that entitled women are abundant or if it's that the entitled ones are the loudest. Because if you think about it, it's the same way. Think about like toddlers, right? No, most of the toddlers you see at like the grocery store, you don't even notice. It's only the loud ones that are throwing a shit fit. And all of them throw shit fits sometimes, but some of them throw shit fits a lot. It's only the ones throwing a shit fit that you noticed, right? Most toddlers, you don't even see them. They're just blurs. You don't even see them. Don't even register. Right? And I think it's the same way with women. I think probably 3 out of 4 are probably reasonable. And then like the loudest 1 out of 4 are just the fucking worst. That's what I think is happening. I don't know. I can't prove this. I will say I had another video that kind of speaks to this that I want to show you guys. This is horrible, but let's see. Let's see. Go ahead, play.
Now is like lame and like shameful. And she was like, I feel like it used to be really cool, but now it's like you meet a girl and you're like, oh, you'd be cooler if you like didn't have a boyfriend.
Yeah.
And I was like, I really do feel that way. Like when I meet a girl and she doesn't have a boyfriend, I am like, oh, like, yeah, that's cunt. Like you're cool. Like I like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you're on your own, like slay girl. And then
like, yes, independent. You don't need shit.
I saw this girl make a video and she was like, isn't it kind of funny? Like, I feel like having a boyfriend now is like lame. And
okay, there we go. That's it. We're coming back around now. But you see, like you gotta understand, like 90% of the women that you interact with are getting that pumped into their brain the whole time they're awake. Because they're just on their phone, they're just doing this. And it's just that. That's them trying to do a podcast. I have this joke, by the way. This is a side note. I have this joke. This is just for my audience now. I'm not sure. I shouldn't say this on camera. I don't think this joke is going to work. All right. So the joke here's, I'm just going to tell you what it is. It was like, so blah, 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 something about conspiracy theories, blah, blah, blah. I don't think Anne Frank wrote her diary. And it's like, ooh, anti-Semitism, right? It's like, no, because we know what it sounds like when women write books. Like the whole publishing industry is dominated right now. I read that whole diary. There's no monster porn anywhere. That's the bit. I don't know if that is going to work. That's a joke that I'm working on. That's just for you, the audience. I'm not sure I'm ready to say that in a room full of people yet. I'm not sure. I don't know if that's good or not. I'm going to have to tone that way down. There's some kernel of something in there. I think it's funny because it's like, no. I'm not being horribly anti-Semitic. I'm just being regular sexist. I don't know if there's a way I could make that work. I don't know if there is. It's just something I thought of the other day, and I was like, I find that very funny. I don't know if I can sell that to anybody else on planet Earth. I enjoy that, but I enjoy that joke. But anyway, the point I was trying to make here is like, that's what's being pumped into women's brains. It's like that and fucking monster fucker porn is being pumped into women's brains all the time. And then we interact with them and they're horrible. And it's like, why is that? My other thing too is like, I don't know how much of this we could just, I don't know how much of this shit we could just like heap at the feet of women, because at the end of the day, we could sit here and we could say, hey, young women especially are the easiest demographic to brainwash. And two, almost 80%, almost all of the marketing, almost all of the propaganda, almost all of the, you know, brain rotting bullshit that's online is being targeted particularly at women. Like, they're being targeted really aggressively by brainwashing, and they're the most susceptible to brainwashing. So at some point it's got to be like, are we really mad at the women, or are we mad at the people who are brainwashing them to be terrible? You know, I don't know. I'm kind of thinking that we should focus on who's doing the brainwashing and try to tell a better, more compelling story. And I think actually, hold on, let me look at let's see. Better like dick jokes because mine's silly. Yes, sir. I actually know your wife, sir, and she does, in fact, enjoy your dick jokes. She sounds like she just got dumped. Yeah, for real. Single women keeping women single is a big problem. Let's see. That kind of mentality is why conservative values are seeing a revival. Yes, actually. She's dumb. She is dumb. And here's the thing. A lot of women are sick of this too. That's the other thing. They're just the quiet ones. This is kind of what I mean when I say the worst ones are the loudest. The worst ones are the loudest. So, like, she's clearly awful, but there's a lot of women who would hear that and be like, I don't co-sign that. I don't agree with that. I don't want to be a part of that either. So that's encouraging. That's encouraging a little bit. I don't know. And I think Nate is right here when he says conservative values are seeing a revival. When I talk to people who are around, and I think most people that I talk to are sick of dating apps. The younger they are, the more likely they are to be completely sick of dating apps, completely over it. I don't think Gen Alpha is going to sign up for dating apps because they saw what it did to millennials and Gen Z, and they're like, fuck that. I don't want to do that. And I think hookup culture is like dead in a generation. I think Gen Z is the last hookup culture generation. I think they're done with that because that very clearly does not lead to good outcomes. And I think, you know, Gen Alpha is not stupid. They're seeing that. And they're watching what's going on. And when I talk to young people, it seems like I'm hearing a lot more want to get married, want to have kids. I hear a lot of women complain about how many men are using porn. And as many women are addicted to Gooner books, and this does seem to be like a millennial Gen Z phenomenon. I think the next generation or two is going to be kind of disgusted by all this stuff. Here's the thing. I don't think sex is going to be, I think society is going to be more saturated with sex and sexual imagery than it is right now. I think it's already peaked and crested. I think like a lot of people are grossed out by it and they want to see less of it. I think people want stable societies where people form families again, because I think people are seeing what happens if you spend your life single and selfish and focused on just you. That's a recipe for saying stupid things into a podcast. That's why I'm here. This is true. Millennial women are the largest consumer demographic in America. Yeah, that's exactly right. So women control, I think it's 80% of consumer buying decisions are made by women. So that's why all the marketing goes to them. And and this is why if you look at marketing trends in retail stores, it's all like Summerween. You know, it's all like, hey, do you want Halloween stuff, but do you want it like 2 months early? You know, or do you want, you know, it's all stuff millennial women like. It's all pumpkin spice everything. Like there's just like a code imprinted in their brains where they see pumpkin spice and they're like, ooh, this goes in the cart. Pumpkin spice is good. you know, and that's on purpose. Like, I'm not shitting on them. It's like, it's on purpose. You know, there's plenty of stuff. There's plenty of stuff that is the marketing to men is crazy. Like, you know what? Like, dude wipes or like scented candles for men. Just get a scented candle. Like, why? It's like this is gunmetal tobacco ninja. It's like, what does ninja smell like? This is crazy. Or like a scented candle to capture the manly musk. That's the gayest thing I've ever heard. How is that less gay than just buying a scented candle? Or like dude wipes. Why do I need special wipes just for men? Why can't I just have the regular wipes? Why do I need special man wipes? What's wrong? Why do I need? You know what I'm gonna do with these, right? Like, why does this need to be gender segregated? What are we doing here? But like, you know, marketing is stupid. But yeah, almost all of the marketing decisions are made by women. So that's why and it's really easy to convince women to go into debt to buy stupid bullshit. And if women stay single, so if men stay single, they don't become big consumers. If women stay single, if they get married, they spend all their disposable income and all the family's income on stuff for the family, like baby stuff and stuff like that. And if women stay single, they spend all their money on like shoes and cat food and consumer goods. And then they do a lot more online shopping, and they go into more credit card debt, and they buy trips and stuff like that. It's just better for the economy if women have all the capital and stay single, because then it creates this cycle of like consumer spending. Which is in a very until obviously it also craters the birth rate. So in the long term, it destroys society, but in the short term, it's really good for the economy because you sell a lot of stuff. Yeah. Hold on. Let's look at this. Women will read Spud and give you a weird book if you tell them you've read Dostoevsky. Yeah, they certainly will. That's what's crazy is we were told for centuries that there weren't a lot of female authors because there were a lot of great female authors, but they were being blocked out of the publishing industry by the evil patriarchy. And now that the patriarchy is dominated by women, it's all just porn. This is what they wanted to write the whole time. It's just porn. This is why it was good to keep them out of publishing. That was a good thing. We should have kept doing it. Don't shit on dude wipes. They saved my ass more than once. I understand that, but like, I'm not against wet wipes, but why do they have to be male specific? Why can't you just use like off-brand Walmart Great Value wipes? Like, why does it have to be the man brand for men? There we go. Nate's being sensible. I like my cherry lime candles. I don't want my house to smell like motor oil just because it's manly. I agree. What are we talking about here? What are we doing? Oh, man. This is crazy. I actually, there's one more video I want to go over that I have saved. So let me pull that up and we'll see if that does anything. Let's see. Let's see. Show status. Let's see. Beep. Okay, hold on.
Does it matter? Could you please explain that to me?
You are conflicted with the
I saw this post that said women are like, it's not until a woman realizes that a man will communicate with the woman that he likes.
Yeah. And
it's like,
a man will communicate.
It's not that men have issues communicating.
A man would
it's
do
that
any and everything y'all say men don't do with the woman he likes.
Yeah, you know how many men?
There it is.
Yes.
No, a man will do everything that y'all say men don't do and men ain't capable of, and ain't no more men like this. He would do all that without having to be prompted.
Yeah.
And he would do it with joy and glee for the woman he actually liked.
notion that a woman is an autonomous.
I saw this post that said
that they still don't get that. Hold on, let me X out of this. Yeah, dude. That's what I think a lot of the problems that men and women are having right now with each other is you're dating people that don't like you. Like, I think that happens a lot. You're just dating people who don't fucking like you. So that's why they're treating you badly. That's why they're not, if you're a guy dating a woman, it's just like, I keep being super nice to her, I keep doing everything, and she's not fucking me. What's happening? She doesn't like you. That's why. You're welcome. She keeps lying and cheating on me. What's going on? She doesn't like you. Fixed it for you. Same with women. It's like, why can't I find a man who's going to treat me the way I want to be treated? He doesn't like you. Date someone uglier. He'll like you better. There you go. That's your dating pool. You're welcome. And I think they're just like, a lot of people are, I think a lot of women are dating over their skis kind of without knowing it. And then those women kind of later in life will settle with a stable provider type guy that doesn't meet their looks standard or their standards for excitement. But now that they're older, they want someone who's going to provide for them. And then they'll be like, and then they'll just like, ugh, because from their perspective, that guy's lucky to be there because they're settling. And from his perspective, he's like, I'm doing my best, man. What do you want from me? It's like, oh, there's nothing to do. She just doesn't like you. So just date people who like you, I guess. And this goes back to our D&D discussion. Hold on. We have more wet wipes discourse I have to address. If you knew what a ninja smelled like, you'd already be dead. Thanks, Rogue Nerd. Wet wipes are smaller and they tear more easily. Bro, what is going on in your asshole that you need like industrial strength wipes? Just wipe gently. What is the problem? Why are you having so many asshole issues? What are you eating? I love the smell of motor oil. You guys don't know what's up. Ronald is fun. We love Ronald. Shout out to Ronald. This seems really counterintuitive. How do you date someone who doesn't like you? Oh, okay, that's a good question. I might not. Horny is a good example. So this is what happens. So the woman, here's what it is. You like the other person so much more that you'll go above and beyond for them. And that makes you very convenient for that person. So they don't like you, but you do everything that they want. So that makes you convenient to have around. Does that make sense? I'll give you an example. Okay. So let's say you're a guy and there's a woman that will let you, she'll like, if you text her at 3 a.m., you up, she'll come over to your house and fuck you and she'll bring food. And then when the fucking is over, she'll leave. But you don't want to talk to her at all. She has an unpalatable personality, but she's extremely convenient. Right? So you're dating someone that you don't really like, but she really likes you. That's why she's acting like that. Right? Yes. I live in the woods and my shits are massive. We gotta have him on the show. So simping. Yes. Okay. So the way this happens to men is that you see those guys who are like, wow, I'm so lucky to have this woman that's been ran through. This woman that got ran through by the whole Los Angeles Lakers starting five, is now 40 and ready to settle down. And I'm so lucky to have her, because he's kind of dating over his skis looks wise. And she needs somebody who's going to pay for everything. And so they kind of make this economic agreement. And the problem is he's entering that relationship thinking that she's going to want to have sex with him. And she doesn't feel desire for him. She just feels obligation. And so he's, paying it. He's doing more and doing more and doing more and trying to be romantic and all this stuff. And all that does is make her more grossed out by him. The more effort he puts in, the more grossed out she gets. Like, ugh. Like effort is not going to ever, like more effort, more investment, more niceness is not going to create desire. That's not where desire comes from. Right. So she doesn't really like you, but she's dating you because you guys, your financial interests are intertwined. Or married in this case that I'm describing. Yeah, and so the problem with that, this is why it's fucking critically important to date someone who likes you as a person. It is critically important, and you'll know because of how they treat you. This is the thing I told my lesbian friend when she was dating men. She was like, well, how do I know when a guy likes me? I was like, that guy is treating you badly because he doesn't like you. She's like, how do I know if he likes me? It's like, because he'll treat you well. She's like, but I want this guy to treat me well. I was like, that's not going to happen because he doesn't like you. How can I make him like me? You can't. He already has you in the whore box. You want to be in the wife box, and he has you in the whore box. Right. There's the whore box and the wife box, and you're in the whore box. So you can't jump boxes. I mean, some women do jump boxes. That does happen. I'm not saying it never happens, but once you're in the whore box, it's very hard to get out. It's like quicksand. Very hard to get out without a baby. Even a baby doesn't do it usually. So he doesn't like you. So date someone who likes you. Women want to be desired by not by the guy they're with. Sort of. Yeah. Okay. Sort of. Yeah. A lot of women end up with men that they're not super attracted to. That is true. In general, oh, what's up, Weasel? What's up, buddy? Friend of the channel, Weasel. Here's the thing. So this is what happens when you form relationships based on vibes or based on economic necessity. Is a lot of women end up with, and when you have, you're also people are not marrying their first choice, but a lot of women banged their first choice and didn't get to marry him. So that's the issue. Like it used to be that you didn't fuck a bunch of people before you got married. And I think that fucked up the game, and that makes relationships a lot less stable. Like all the data suggests that. So that creates a problem. But it's like, and then this is why you've got like women like Ayesha Curry, who is married to an NBA player, a 6'2" NBA player. And all she bitches about is how she doesn't get enough male attention. Which is insane. It's not, by the way, this is a maturity problem. Just to tie all the themes of the episode together, this is a maturity problem. This is that there are women who do not act like this. Right? This is a maturity issue. This is people who are not emotionally mature making permanent relationship decisions. Right? That's what this leads to. So it's not as widespread as you might think. Like there are women of quality who do want to be in a relationship and do want to be desired by the guy they're actually in a relationship with. If a girl really likes you, then basically other male attention is like just not going to do it for her. Like that really only scratches the itch if they're not satisfied within the relationship. Now, the unfortunate reality is that it's very, very hard for people in the age of social media and dating apps and Instagram and everything. It's very hard to keep particularly women satisfied within relationships, and men too. Like I think porn fucks with people. Porn fucks with relationships more than we want to talk about. For men especially, keeps you disconnected. So both of us, we treat men and women, we retreat away from the relationship into the digital, which is horrible. That's bad for the relationship. But a lot of women, they need that outside attention or they go crazy because they're not facing inward. And man, it sucks. A lot of this is I am sympathetic to women to some degree, because you got to understand, like, I mean, we just saw the phone is lying to them 100% of the time. Truthfully, the way to have like a meaningful life for most people, most of the time, your best option is get married, build a dope family that you like, and invest emotionally in that relationship. That's going to kick ass for you. 90% of the time, that's going to be awesome for you. And you're going to be super happy about that. Like that's going to work. That's your best available option. Most people being single is a bad look, being past a certain point. Like everybody out there who's like 30 plus and still dating knows what I'm talking about. Past a certain point, the shit ain't fun no more. Shit ain't fun no more. Like even if you're good at, like I go out, I do pretty well talking to women, but I don't do it for sport anymore. So it's like completely irrelevant to me. It's like I'm looking for, like I said, something very specific, and that's very hard to find. And until then, it's like, so it just ain't that fun anymore. Like at some point, you want to get to the next stage of your life, and you want to build something meaningful that actually lasts, and that is not possible if you're sport fucking. Like sport fucking is a hindrance to that. So let's see. The over dude wipes. We're going to have to clip the dude wipe segment. I'm going to have to come back to that. You're describing my ex-wife to a T. Yeah, I think a lot of people, particularly the millennial cohort that are like mid-30s now and are hitting that divorce point, which a lot of us know. A lot of us who are 30 plus, we have friends who are divorced. And that's oftentimes the case. It's like all the ones that I know about fit that pattern. You know, not to say there aren't, bad ones. It's just, I know a lot of guys who did their absolute best and things didn't break their way. And a lot of it had to do with, I just want more. I've outgrown it. I want more. And then they get out there and it's like the reality. I also have talked to a lot of divorced women, and the reality is like a lot of times the brutality of the dating market now kicks them in the face. Like they don't understand. They have a hard time making this connection that a lot of the men out there that will have sex with them do not like them as people. And that's where they get this idea that men are bad or men hate women because they're exclusively interacting sexually with men who hate them. But that's a selection bias, though. They're picking the wrong people, and they have complete control over who they lay down with, right? So the problem is their selection. So you could just easily say, choose better. And it's like, where are the good men? It's like you think you're entitled to a better guy than you can actually get because he'll fuck you, but he won't. This is why the whole like dating apps and sport fucking and Instagram and all this stuff, this is why it fucks things up. Now, no one is happy. You were promised, right? That was the deal of sexual liberation and free move. You were promised everybody was going to get laid. Everybody was going to get to satisfy their hedonistic desires, and everyone was going to be happy. We're all going to come a bunch. We're all just going to be covered in DNA. We're going to be rolling around naked in a field, and everything's going to be great. Have you enjoyed it so far? Has it been fun? No, it's been excruciating. Yeah. It's been horrible. Everyone's lonely. The birth rate is plummeting. People are miserable. People are committing suicide. What? Social skills are retarded. It's horrible. Yeah, people are giving up. Yeah, no wonder. No fucking wonder. Let's see. It reminds me of a line from Adam Sandler in his movie Click. They went to work. You had sex with their unemployed brothers. You're a horn dog. Yeah. That's exactly right. A lot, bro. Unemployed dudes are crushing it. They're swinging dick, bro. 'Cause they don't have another choice. They got it. That's one of the great things about this. Like, that's just been my life. A lot of it. I spent a significant portion of my life as a hobosexual, and I picked up a very particular set of skills that I can use to keep a roof over my head if necessary. I'm not proud of it. I'm not saying I recommend it. Be clear. Who knows what's up? I haven't dated in almost 20 years. I feel bad for you singles. Yeah, dude, it's not good. It's rough out here. That's right, Ronald. It is tough, but I actually think you can, as tough as it is, you can vet most people in 20 minutes. And that's, I think, the most efficient. I think of it like interviewing for a position. You can vet like pretty easily in the first 20 minutes. You can figure out if this is going to work or not. And then you can like in your for your part, you can make yourself as most guys can be at least a 7 if they put in a little bit of effort. That's the other thing too. That's not like women are just kind of like most men are attracted to most women, and that the same is not true in reverse, where most women are not attracted to most men. But as a man, you can make yourself at least a 7 if you shower and wear clothes that fit, and maybe wear a cologne or something, whatever it is, whatever's popular where you are. A lot of this varies regionally, but like you can be at least a 7 as a guy, 90% of you. And so if you're fat, lose weight, be less fat. That's an easy one. You can lose weight. You don't have to be like a fucking, you don't have to have like a perfect shredded body. But if you're like 50 pounds overweight and you become like 10 or less pounds overweight, or you stop being overweight entirely, that's going to make you substantially less attractive. Like, yeah. And it's like most people who, you can do that. Now, the problem is, finding a woman whose like personality is palatable. I'll get back to you on that. I do think cold approach is dead. And this is speaking as somebody who's a retired pickup artist. I used to love cold approach. I think cold approach is cooked. I don't think it's a workable strategy because it's a low percentage strategy applied to something that's a low percentage of success anyway. So most people you date, you will not marry, right? And most people you do cold approach will not agree to a date with you. So I think your best bet is still meeting people through friends or family. So the problem is that most people don't have friends or family because we've gotten rid of third spaces. We just go to work and then we go home and like fucking bed rot, right? So my suggestion is find other places to go that are outside of your house and are not your job and are not an online thing. People that live near you in real life, and meet those people and see how it goes. And then the more people you meet, the more people you meet. And then it just becomes a numbers game. And like I said, you can vet somebody in 20 minutes. 20 minutes tops, you should be able to figure out if a woman is like completely TikTok brained. Because they're not trying to hide it because they think their TikTok brain bullshit is normal. Some of this is, I think, especially true because I'm a comedian. Like, I'll do comedy shows or whatever, and people will come up to me, and they'll be like, women especially will come up to me and be like, hey, just so you know, I love what you're doing. I love misogynistic jokes. I just can't, I don't want to say it because my friends will punish me. Right. Football Nate. I'm sorry. What, Theo? What skills? Mind your business, Nate. This is a grown man conversation. You're not ready for all that. You're a youngster. You're not ready. Homosexual. You get it. My regional scent is natural musk. Yeah. Some women are into that, or they should be. Make dive bars great again. Hey, man, I spend a lot of time in dive bars. I don't advocate going to dive bars, but I spend a lot of time in dive bars because I do comedy. So I gotta admit, I didn't at first. I enjoy the vibe to a degree. I literally performed at a place called The Dive Bar. There's a place called The Dive Bar out here in Vegas. They do comedy shows out there, and they got hot goth chicks. It's pretty cool. It's pretty gangster. Yeah, dive bars are rad. That's a place, if you just want to get really good at talking to people, a dive bar is a great place to go. Like, because if you can talk to people at a dive bar, you can talk to people anywhere. You can talk to people at like Starbucks or 7-Eleven or whatever. I think that's the problem, is we've gotten rid of like polite chit chat between people who are like standing in line at Starbucks or whatever. Like polite chit chat from people that you like don't need or want anything from. Just like getting in the habit of talking to strangers. Like talking to strangers is like a necessary skill. Even if you meet a woman through friends, she will start as a stranger and you will have to talk to her. And also, like, stop with we also got to figure out, like, we also got to be asking women, like, what do you bring to the table besides pretty? What do you do besides look good? Right? Because I don't know about you guys, I can't afford to have a woman who's purely decorative. Like, she's got to be able to do something, or I can't afford a pure decoration. I ain't that rich. So I need a woman who's got something going on in her life. Who's going to enhance and what I mean by that particularly is a woman that I can talk to for a long time and bounce ideas off of. And she's an independent thinker. Like that's a really important thing. Actually, that's a really important quality. And that's exceptionally rare. Most women are herd animals. That's why they're all TikTok brained. So finding an independent thinker is super rare. And wait, there was a bar with goth girls and you didn't take me. My Strider will have to get you next time you're out here. We'll have to get you there. Yeah, it's gonna be good. They do shows there too. It's a lot of fun. But it's gnarly. It's gnarly. It's a gnarly scene out here. A lot of fun. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm gonna keep. I'm not giving up. I'm gonna keep doing the hard field research for you people, and I'm gonna report back what I find. Yeah, I'm out here in the trenches. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Anyway, all right, we're probably gonna wrap this up because I got other stuff I want to do today. But yeah, it's been awesome hanging out with you guys. My name is Theo Snodgrass. I do a show called Touch Grass with Theo Snodgrass every Saturday, 11 a.m. Pacific time. That's coming up this Saturday. That's my panel show. I also do this show. I was doing it Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're kind of changing up the time a little bit. It's going to stay a morning show. But my goal is to maybe I want to do multiple shows a week. I want to do like three shows. We're already doing at least 2 shows, hopefully bump that up to 3 shows. My goal is to do this show 5 days a week, even if I have to do shorter shows. We'll see what happens. The chat's being interesting, Weasel. There's the real issue. We made the cost of living exceed the realistic incomes of a couple on a single income. Yeah, that's huge. Basically, you cannot have a single income couple anymore. You need both people working. So both people are spending 8 hours a day outside the house and, paying for someone else to take care of their children if they have any. And then you get back and you see the only time you interact with your partner is you're frazzled and tired and you're not working on the same stuff. So you don't have shared goals. You have it's not the goals for the family. It's your each individual career goals. It's not 2 people working on the same project like at earlier periods of history. And that draws people together. Whereas 2 people working on their own separate career goals drives people apart. And yeah, people are frazzled and money is extremely, extremely difficult, extremely touchy. And that's why I think so much of the relationship discourse revolves around money in a way that is very dehumanizing for both the men and the women involved. Yeah, it's tough. It's just a reality of where things are at right now. It's not good. It's not good. Also, by the way, this is like we're hearing a lot. I mean, we hear this a lot now, but it's coming up more as we talk about the midterms. This idea of like government funded childcare is just a vehicle for the government to get your children out of the home so that they can program them into woke bullshit. It's just the more time you give the government to propagandize your children younger and younger and younger, it's like, oh yeah, let's get them in government funded preschool. Let's get them in government funded daycare. Let's get them out of the house so we can feed them propaganda about how they should submit to the government and give up all their freedoms. Yeah, let's do that. Like they just love their salivating at the prospect of not allowing you to raise your own children. They love the idea of taking children away from their parents. They love the idea of making it so that families can't afford to spend any time together, except for at the very end of the day when they're tired and miserable and everything sucks. That's the only time they want you seeing your partner. They want you seeing your partner at their worst only. And what's crazy is like, I hear this all the time from guys in the trades where it's like, my wife only sees me, she only interacts with me in the context of asking me to do stuff I'm not good at, like pick up stuff from the grocery store and I fuck it up because I don't know what a, fucking, panini is or whatever. I don't know. That's not even a vegetable. See what I'm saying? I don't even know. It's like, but if she saw me at work, she would see me be super competent, problem solver, whatever, respected by my peers. People take orders from me, all this stuff. I'm a really well-respected guy. And then I go home and it's just like, this fucking asshole can't even get the right stuff from the grocery store. And it's like, no, I am good at stuff. But you don't see that when families work together. Like, okay, if this was like the Middle Ages, right, and you were a blacksmith and your wife worked and your wife and children worked at the business with you, they would see you at your best all the time. And we don't do that. We only see each other at our worst. That's intentional. And by the way, your kids at school all day and they are just being like beaten down and forced to submit to an unfair, petty, thin-skinned authority figure, right? And then they come home. No wonder they're rebelling against authority, because they had to just fucking sit down and shut the fuck up all day. And in the case of a male student, they had to listen to how fucking terrible they are all day from the fucking authority figure. So they come home. No wonder they're pissed off. So everything in a way our society is structured is designed so that families will scrap with each other. That's the whole fucking point. It's just none of it is conducive to forming stable families that love each other and can ride out storms together, like everything. And then there's so much stuff so much divorce propaganda, especially directed at women. Like you can leave that man who's perfect, who's a great guy, who hasn't done anything wrong. You can leave him if he's not your person. A fuck what makes you happy. When has it ever been about your happiness? And that's the problem, I think, too. Now that I'm talking about this, I was going to end the show. Now I'm on a fucking rant. This is, you guys do this to me. You guys do this to me. So I'm saying it's like a lot of women, I think women file for divorce most of the time. It's like 70 or 80% of the time women are filing for divorce. And, I think a lot of that, there's a lot of reasons contributing to that. Sometimes it's women are better at doing tedious paperwork, for one. But one of the things that women are always initiating divorces is women get married expecting to be happy and men don't. Think about the messaging that women get about marriage. Women get married expecting to be happy. Men don't. Think about the messaging women get. Women get like, oh, you're going to get married. It's going to be magic. It's Disney movie. It's kissing at the end of Little Mermaid. It's like this and that. Men, what do we tell men about marriage? It's miserable. You're not going to be appreciated. You're going to have nobody. You're going to be tired all the time. She could leave you at the drop of a hat, getting in line to lose half your shit. We just tell men that you're never going to have sex again. That's what we tell men about marriage. And what we tell women about marriage is completely different. We tell them it's going to be this like magical, like self-completing moment. It's like, I'm going to be my true self. Hey, everyone's going to be happy about me. I'm going to be a princess. That's what we tell women about it. And then that doesn't happen. For men, marriage is pretty much as advertised. It's like, oh yeah, this does kind of suck. Oh, well, back to work. And then for women, it's like, I'm not a princess. What? And then they get mad and they get divorced because the neighbor sent him a DM on Instagram. Yeah, and it's because men don't get married expecting to be happy. Women get married expecting to be happy. So that's what's going on with that. Anyway, let's see what else is popping in the chat. Bro, that's real shit. Thanks, bro. I once told a cop I was frazzled and he let me off with a warning. That's awesome. The biggest lie ever told is you can't just do that, especially in regards to raising and schooling your own children, maintaining your own property. Bingo. Yeah, you just have to make sacrifices. But that's all doable. You just have to make sacrifices. I'm doing that. I'm doing something similar, right now. I took a huge fucking kick in the shorts financially when I moved to Las Vegas. I exhausted all my money coming out here, and my income went way down because all my professional contacts are in the Northwest. And it's really difficult, but I'm slowly building up my power base here. I'm slowly increasing my revenue streams here. It sucks. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of fucking work, man. But yeah, it's completely doable, and you can do it outside the system. You don't need anybody's permission to create the life that you want. You can just do it. Just start doing shit. That's my advice too. Whatever you want to do, whatever it is, just start doing it and see what happens. And it's going to suck for a while. But if you can get through the part that sucks, you'll get to the part where things are good. Like the part that sucks is temporary. I got married because I knew from a young age I didn't want to die alone. Very smart. Yeah, and that's the problem is that like, okay, we live in a culture that lies about being single. It's like, yeah, being single is awesome. Woohoo. You're going to be swinging dick the whole time. It's like, nah, bro, it gets pretty bleak after a certain point. And here's the thing. We have this narrative about chosen family, like, oh, my friends will always be there for me. It's like, nah, they're going to be there for their family at some point. Their kids are going to take priority over your friendship. Their wife is going to take priority over your friendship, just how it is. Right? It's one of the reasons that we pair people up like that is so that it's part of it is just the buddy system. Like it's good for everybody to pair up like that. That's good for everybody because you have to be considerate of someone else's needs, which makes you less of an asshole. And somebody's looking out for you. So you're never completely alone. You know, somebody has your back. It makes a big difference to have somebody having your back. And this is true. There's all kinds of research that suggests for men's health, especially like being alone for a long time is not good. And this is something I have looked into for obvious reasons. Being a long-term single dude is like it's not good for your soul, right? And it's not good for you physically. It's not good for your health markers. Like a lot of these guys just like drop dead at a certain point. So like pairing up is actually really smart. And by the way, what's crazy about this, all of this advice is in scripture. All this advice is as old as our species' ability to write. This stuff the early church fathers talked about, you know, after kind of like when Rome was falling, but before, you know, the Middle Ages, before the Dark Ages, you know, so this is, you know, it's very, 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 very old wisdom that getting married is a good idea. And there's a certain way you got to act so that women don't freak out on you. Like that stuff is like, and how it's actually good for you to learn how to do that because it makes you less of an asshole, actually. It's actually good for everyone. It's good for women to like learn how men think because it makes them less like demanding and entitled and rude and irrational. Sometimes they just calm down. Like, you know what? I do need to calm down a little bit. Yeah. And then they become more palatable to be around. It's good for everybody, honestly. I brought up the apparent competence deficit at home the other day, as in, you don't ever get to see me at my best and the most competent. It's wild how you give a core about your best hours out of the day. Yeah, dude. You give a corporation your best hours out of the day, not your family. That's bugged me for a while. That your wife doesn't get the best version of you, your kids don't get the best version of you. Some fucking business gets the best version of you. And same with your wife. Like she goes in, takes orders from her male boss, basically. It's like, yes, daddy. Oh, she didn't call him daddy, hopefully. But, you know, she does whatever. Like, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, whatever. Then she comes home and she's like, you motherfucker. No, by the way, no wonder. No wonder women. And by the way, women necessarily do have to become kind of like frigid and masculine and rude and direct if they want to succeed in the working world. And that is just like bad for them socially. It just makes them hard to interact with. Like get your bag, queen, but it makes you hard to interact with. At the end of the day, I have this conversation all the time with supposedly self-proclaimed strong women. It's like men are not intimidated by you. You just suck to be around. That's it. It's not that men are intimidated by you. It's not that you're so intelligent and so brilliant and so accomplished and so wonderful that men don't want to date you. It's you suck to be around. Sorry. Yeah. You must have some wild jobs if boss and daddy are interchangeable. Mind your business, Weasel. Mind your business. Oh man. Yeah, dude. It's rough out there. The way we've structured society is completely retarded and stupid, and it doesn't make any sense. I think I wanted to talk about virtue signaling. I put that in the title, but we'll get to that in another show. The point is, yeah, we've basically set it up to where, it's a miracle. If you have a relationship that is staying together, you are fighting an uphill battle. You are winning an uphill battle, and that's crazy. Good for you. Most people are just, it's a hell of a time because of just what we're up against out here. So that's why I say like normal people. I also, this is the other thing too. This is why I say like people really got to go to church together. I really do think you got to have some kind of shared religious ideas at the center of your marriage. That has to happen because otherwise you're not going to stay together, dude. because you're up against so much. It's if your relationship is based on vibes or feel goods, like it's not going to work, dude. Not with what's up, not with what's out there with Instagram, with everything, you know, all this short-term thinking and all this like horrible messaging that's out there. It's just got to be built on something powerful. This is why I'm saying I think couples that stay together, from what I've seen, they have shared religious ideas. They also work together on the same shared projects. That's a big one that we don't have. If you have two people pursuing their own individual career trajectories, I don't see that as sustainable. Some people make it work, but I don't think that's a recipe for growing closer together. I think it's got to be two people working on the same shared projects and have the same shared goals. And I think, yeah, taking care of your own kids as much as you can with keeping the government out of it is required, because I mean, you've seen what they'll do. They'll turn your kid trans and not even tell you. I mean, at what point do you just stop trusting these psychopathic pedophiles to take care of your children? Right? At what point do you just say, nope, you have lost your privileges. I don't trust you anymore. You don't get to hang out with my kids. Sorry. And it's kind of weird that you want to so badly. Like, I find it weird that so many of these people are so dead set about hanging out with children. It's like, no, you've lost that privilege. I don't trust you anymore. Like, is anybody really out here? Certainly not in my audience. Nobody's out here still trusting the government, right? We're past that. We're adults now. Yeah. Nobody in my audience is, for sure. But yeah, I think homeschooling is like the only way. So you got to find that. But again, that also makes finding a woman, you know, that much more challenging, because you got to be like, hey, I want to get, yeah, I want to, you know, fucking have multiple children and homeschool. And a lot of women are like, oh, children, oh, I don't want to stretch out my pussy. God, I mean, I don't know if women say pussy as much. I hang out with female comedians, so I hear the word pussy a lot. It's just awful. It's just awful. I just wish I didn't have to. But I do. It's crazy though. Like, yeah, a lot. The amount of women who we all saw that survey where it was like, yeah. It's where women do not prioritize having children anymore, and men do. And women are all about like career success and like, I want to go to, well, because they're not imagining. Remember, you're not competing with real life. They're competing with the fantasy in their head. So they're all imagining they're going to be like Carrie Bradshaw from Sex and the City or whatever. They're going to be one of these like crazy girl bosses they saw on TV, and that's going to be their life. And it's like, no, you're going to be doing data entry till the day you die, and and as soon as you die, the corporation you work for will replace you immediately, probably with an AI. So if you really think that for most people, and this is not just true for women, most people, the most meaningful contribution they will make to the world is their children. Most people, whatever you're doing is not worth sacrificing family life for. That's true for almost everyone. Almost everyone. That's true. And it's not even a man-woman thing. It's just like a person thing. Like, your family is your most important. This is the most important thing you will probably do. You know, this is Roguish Nerd making up a good point. Or you can get a note saying that they helped your kid kill themselves. Yeah, it's crazy that you can have a child struggling with suicidal ideation, and the school system will hide that from you. That's crazy. But that's reality. So it's like, you know, it would be really hard for me to date somebody who had a lot of trust in the government and wanted to go through the public school system. Like, that'd be really tough for me. You know, that's fundamentally a values mismatch, you know? So yeah, and I understand that those people are hard to find. So it's going to be a numbers game. So I'm going to be here. I'm going to update you. If I come up with any new strategies, you guys will be the first to hear about it. So far, my strategy is do stand-up comedy and talk to the women who are interested in you based on that. That's been my strategy so far. And it's working okay. It's working okay. Dude, I got to get my fucking money up, though. This has been crazy. This move to Vegas, like summer I was doing good in like May and June, and then July and August and September were fucking horrible. If you want to see me do live comedy, by the way, I will be somewhere this Friday. I actually don't know the venue yet. I just know I'm performing somewhere. We're going to find out. I've already agreed to do the show. So we're gonna see what it's. And then I'll be at I know I'll be at Buck's Tavern on November 5th. If you want to check me out there, I'm gonna be featuring over there doing some new material I've been working on. It's been a tough couple months, but I'm working on new material. I'm also going to be planning a crowd work show. We're going to be filming that. We're going to be live streaming that. So I'll make sure that you guys have access to that. You guys will know about it when I live stream that. I'm trying to just like do just a shit ton of crowd work shows because I could do one of those. I could do those probably 5 days a week. It's not that hard. So maybe I could get people to show up. So we're trying to build something up, do the best we can, get some momentum going out here. I'm getting into stuff. And then I'm going on the road again in February. We're going to be on the road again. So for right now, we're just doing local stuff here. So come out to Vegas, see me do comedy. Check out my show, 11 a.m. Pacific time. That's Touch Grass. 11 a.m. Saturdays Pacific time. That's Touch Grass. We're going to have a fun panel this week. And then this is my show. We're going to keep a morning show. The goal is to build up to 5 days a week. Right now we're doing at least 2 days a week right now. I'll keep you guys posted. If you want to know more, follow me on YouTube, follow me on X. That's the best place to reach me. Go ahead and sign up for my Patreon and send me money. That would be very helpful because I could really use it. All right. Take it easy. And to play us out, we're going to have my intro for Touch Grass, which is my other show, will be my outro for this show. Take it away.
Johnson crack look good. Well, look at my crack. No. Look at that crack.
Are we looking at Arz's cat now?
Yes. Sorry, I didn't hear a damn thing you said.
All right.
And because I was a gazillionaire and I like building so much, I cut that price for free.
Species is dying. The birth rate is plummeting. Women are chopped. But yeah, you know what? Get a fucking cat.
I know even more about grass.